You know, a lot of people have talked about, in their opinion, the rise of and the success of the UFC and mixed martial arts rendered a lot of things from wrestling's past irrelevant, and you couldn't really apply it any longer because people would completely not believe. That was an argument we've heard. We've also seen recently, while guys like the Blackpool Combat Club are clearly in that school, it may not look good at times, but that's what they're trying to do. We've seen Solo Sikoa get over the spike, which
Yeah.
on its face is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it works and it's over. Do you think we could ever see the claw or the stomach claw work again? Do you think it's just as simple as you have to use it and use it well and not make it weak and it will work? Or do you think the argument that fans have seen UFC, they won't believe something as ridiculous as that? Do you think there's any merit to that?
No. Again, wrestling is a business where you have to make the preposterous posterous. And presentation and context and the way that it's sold and the way that it's done and the way that it's talked about is, as you mentioned with the spike, the Samoan spike, Terry Gordy, in the fucking 80s, it was the Asiatic spike that he learned in Japan. In the 70s, Ernie Ladd had his injured thumb taped up by the doctors. And and also Ernie Ladd's thumbs were the size of goddamn Polish sausages to begin with. And with that thing taped up, and people would say, well, there's a piece of metal in there, something to keep it stiff or whatever. He'd jam it in the guy's throat and they'd fucking spit up blood. And people would attack Ernie Ladd and risk going to jail when he used the fucking taped thumb. It's the presentation and the context. And if the guy's doing it seems serious about it, and Solo seems serious, and those guys are taking those bumps, and they ain't getting up from them. So he gets the fucking spike over. The stomach claw, I guarantee you, the stomach claw will work. And if you're an average jack-off, and you've got somebody like a fucking Danny Hodge or a Dick the Bruiser or anybody with grip strength, digging into your goddamn abdomen, you're going to fucking be screaming. Now, whether or not that you could stab him in the eye or whatever with your finger and get out of it, that remains to be seen. The head claw may be an issue, but at the same time, if you've got a guy like Almost, that he's 7'4" or whatever, and his hands are 20 inches long and it goes all the way around your head. When Andre grabbed a guy by his head, you would believe with that size of a hand that, he could fucking pop the guy's head like a pimple. It's who's doing it, how it's sold, how it's presented. Anything's possible, but everything's not possible for everybody, but anything is possible for somebody. Right?
I think so.
So
again, I don't agree with the argument that you can't do these things because the UFC makes them obsolete.
No, it's because there's always fucking weird shit that can happen and people that can do weird things. And also, again, it's presentation and it's education and it's how that it's done and how that it's sold. And, I'm not saying that you can make people believe donkeys can fly. Oh, there's somebody on this planet that you could probably convince that you had a flying donkey. But other things are within the realm of possibility if they don't stand out as just being bullshit on the face of it, and the people that are involved in doing it are snickering at it at the same time.
Yeah, also, this is the world of wrestling where wrestlers are having their hands in their pockets or teleporting, so the idea that the claw is too ridiculous for fans is somewhat of a ridiculous argument.
Yeah, and I mean, again, there have been some guys in the wrestling business that if Danny Hodge had put the fucking claw on you, you would have begged for mercy because he had a fucking grip that could snap pliers and crush apples. And it looked ridiculous when Gene Anderson would do his elbow grip thing on like the Barbarian or whatever. But he would middle finger and thumb on the sides of the elbow on that fucking bone in such a way, and Gene Anderson had that grip, and Barbarian would be down on his knees. Please, Gene, say you're a pussy. I'm a pussy, Gene. I'm a pussy. Say you'll suck my dick. I'll suck your dick, Gene. Please let me up. But it looked ridiculous. But it was a shoot. So, fuck, it's how you do something, how you sell it, and who's doing it and why.